This Friday, PFL 2 is going to be the second event for the 2024 season, showcasing the lightweights and light heavyweights of their promotion. Now, clearly, ever since they added on Bellator, these fighters have gotten the decision to either join the PFL regular season or fight on the Bellator Championship Series that they're going to have one-offs every so often internationally. I believe only a couple are going to be in the States, but regardless, this is going to be a really, really good card and really, really good season moving forward, only because of the complete new influx of talent, the different matchups, the different things that are going to happen in the season. We're not going to get the same 5 dudes competing at the end of the year and one beats the other and the other can't beat him. And you just have that consistency that you started to see in a couple of divisions. Now, with this talent, we're going to be seeing a complete change of the guard, in my opinion. Now, some of these guys are going to be tested in ways that they haven't been before, and that's not even just to mention the rules around the regular season that PFL brings that Bellator and the UFC do not. And that's no elbows, that's the regular season matchup and the point system based on how well you do, based on your finish rate and how you finish. You get points that rank you in your playoff bracket based on your playoff bracket in your division, in your top 4. I don't know if they're going to expand it because of the additional fighters in each division or whatever the case is, but in that top 4, if they expand it, maybe top 6, but right now in that top 4 based on your points, you get matched up with each other clearly to the championship. Winner wins the championship, winner takes home $1 million for the season, and you kind of reset. Now, I do remember that Don Davis was talking about how we're going to try to have a PFL versus Bellator at the end of every season, but we'll see, because I know that that's a big ask for some of these champions. You're going to go through, guaranteed 4 or 5 fights for a regular season just to turn around and be able to fight someone. It's kind of tough. Now, Bellator would clearly have the upper hand because of the inconsistency versus the consistency of the regular season, but clearly Bellator, you're allowed to use elbows. Now, getting into this card, PFL 2, that's going to be happening again Friday, April 12th. Now, it's a pretty good card, and I did notice that some of these guys are matched up more Bellator versus Bellator now until we get into that regular season, and then they start getting matched up. But it's just what I've noticed from some of the research on this card. Now, at the opening bell, I'm not going to go through every single fight because not every single fight interests me. So I don't want to necessarily start talking about somebody that I'm not well versed on. But I'm going to go over them. Marcel Nunes versus Jordan Heiderman just got added earlier. Then we have Elvin Espinoza versus Anthony Romero, which interests me a lot. Elvin is 9-0, Anthony's 12-2. And Anthony's last loss was against OAM, who's clearly back-to-back champion. So now that he's retired, I'm not saying that that's the whole reason Anthony didn't make it to the playoffs or anything, but it's going to be an interesting hurdle to see some of these guys that OAM just fucking walked through. Now that he's gone, you don't have that threat in the division. Elvin is a tough competitor, though. 9-0. He's had a lot of personal things. I think he got into a car crash. Think he had some sort of lump on his chest. He had to quit baseball. I mean, he's a fucking warrior. Dude's 9-0. He's a threat. I would not take him lightly. Then we got J.J. Wilson versus Adam Piccolotti. Then Rabad Anov, I'm not trying to mess up his name, versus Solomon Renfro. That one's going to be a solid one. I believe Renfro was on the Contender Series and lost. Then Bruno Miranda versus Brent Primus. And Primus is actually, it's going to be his birthday come fight night, so it's going to be interesting. I think he's going to be 39. Now, if he can get this on the ground, clearly Brent's going to have the upper hand when it comes to the submission game. And Bruno also lost to OAM, so can he get past that hurdle? Again, now, a couple of these fighters couldn't get past OAM on this card. It's going to be a little bit of a recurring theme. Then you got Antonio Carlos Jr., who was a light heavyweight champion a couple years back, going against Simon Biong. Simon 2-2 in Bellator. Now this is one of those PFL versus Bellator on the card. Finally, we get to see that matchup. Now I believe Antonio could definitely take this one, but don't sleep on Simon. Yagshir Muradov, I hope I said that right, versus Jacob Nedov. I probably fucked up both of these names. regardless, Jacob hasn't lost since his first fight in the professional. So they're both fighting for their country. I'd be interested to see how this one goes. They're both relatively ranked, necessarily solid in the worldwide lightweight rankings for MMA, but we'll see how this one goes. 8-1, 21, 7-1. This is going to be up in the air. It's going to be a real test for Jacob to see how well he does moving forward in his career. He's fucking wide as shit, by the way, and his only one of his fights other than his loss didn't make it out the first round, which was his last win, only got into the second. So definitely keep an eye on him. Then you have ex-welterweight champion for PFL, Sadaboy Sai. I don't know if I probably fucked that up too, but going against Josh Silveira, I'm not exactly sure how this is going to go. You know, Sai, kickboxer, great striker. Silveira, more on the grappling side, not necessarily a striker. And he's moving up a weight class going against Silveira, who was in the championship last year and lost. We'll see how that goes for him, because both of these getting ranked up in the first fucking fight of the regular season is going to be interesting. They both lost their championship season, so we'll see how they do, especially with Sai going to a new division. Then you got Mads Burnell versus Michael Dufort. Now, I know a lot of people in the comments that I've been reading, different things I've been seeing online, don't sleep on Dufort. He is OAM's training partner, and he could be sneaky good in this position. 12-4, 18-5. We'll see how it goes. I know record doesn't mean anything. I'm just stating it and just saying what they are. Now, don't sleep on Michael Dufort. I'm excited to see that one in the 155 division. Then the top three. I think the top three on the card are what everyone are interested majority-wise, and that's Clay Collard versus Patricky Pitbull. That's third on the card. Both of them are in this spot in their career where they're both exciting fighters. They're both like 24-12, 25-12, literally. They're both in a weird spot. Like, what happens? Clay Collard came off this loss against OAM, had a great run for the last season. But Patricky's coming in from Bellator, you know, win-loss. Like, what's happening? You know, like, where are they at in their career? What's going to give? Who's going to make their game plan known against their opponent and just succeed? We'll find out. A lot of people are shitting on Rob Wilkinson, rightfully so, saying he's not going to get Tom Breeze. He's not a Breeze. Rob apparently tested positive for PEDs against Thiago Santos. So that's what a lot of people are saying he, you know, attribute his success to in his last couple of fights and why he looks so damn good. And keep in mind, Tom Breeze is ranked #1 lightweight in Western Europe. So this is going to be an interesting bout. We'll see if Wilkinson's success was based on his PEDs or if Tom can make him look like he once did before them. This is what I'm excited for, the main event, because I wanted to see the champion defend his belt this season, Impa Kasanganay, and he is going against Alex Polizzi. And I'm not exactly, well-versed in Polizzi's career or his record or whatever the case is. But Impa going against Eblin last fight, going through that season, fighting on the championship card, and then coming into this season, he's going to have some wear and tear unlike anybody else. You have to keep that in mind. Now, do I think that he can do it? Of course I do. I think he's very talented. He was possibly beat Eblin, to be honest with you. He dropped him a couple times. He looked very, very good and fluid on the feet. And now I know that's at 185, but at 205, he's quicker, maybe not as strong, but speed kills, man. I'm telling you, make sure you keep an eye on him. Maybe he'll repeat like OAM did last year and ride out into the sunset on that fucking motorcycle he loves. But we'll see how it goes. Let me know what you think of the PFL season this year and what matchups you want to see in the future based on what divisions and what you think could happen after Friday. I'm, of course, going to be tuning in because it's combat sports. And then the next day after, we get UFC 300. Like, come on. By the way, I absolutely hate that Tom Hardy is even a commentator and some of these other things that he does. But appreciate you. Sometimes PFL is a little tough to watch with the commentators. I can't lie. And then, like, you got Randy Couture and Tyron Woodley. They all just stand like this I don't know. I didn't really understand it, but I watched the last one. That's the vibe I got every time. So appreciate you guys. Let me know what you think about PFL and their card that I just ran through, and let me know what you think of my opinions and give me yours down below. See you guys in the next one. Peace.